Good morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don back in here with you yet again on your Memorial Day Monday. It is 9:21 a.m. Central on your Monday, May 27th, 2024. And the National Weather Service just issuing a special weather statement for Tallapoosa and Chambers in Alabama. This is going to be for a line of thunderstorms stretching, the heaviest part of it, stretching from just south of our town back over to near Dadeville, right along Highway 280 near Camp Hill and into southwestern Chambers County, just north of Waverly. And then it extends all the way over to Lynette, maybe the Valley area just north of Casita. And then there's a break in the action, picks up again just south of LaGrange and stretches back over toward Greenville. Now this is a developing cluster of thunderstorms. It's all the way down there on the south end. We haven't seen a whole lot of action down in this part of Alabama so far, but you see it developing there. Tremendous amount of lightning from our town to Dadeville all the way over toward Camp Hill. And we'll take you in just a little bit closer on this, and we'll start on the west side and work our way over. You see just north of Stillwaters there in southern Tallapoosa County, just south of Dadeville. That's where the most of the lightning is showing up. Then as we move on to the east, you'll see right there around Camp Hill, we have a lot of lightning taking place there. And then that stretches all the way over toward Tiger Corner there at 431, just north of Oak Bowery, just to the southwest of Lafayette, just south of Chambers Academy, along and just south of Highway 50. And this is going to continue moving off to the east. So you folks there at Casita, Hughley, Valley, Lynette, West Point, even up here on West Point Lake. A lot of folks camping this weekend. So if you're on the area lakes, back over at Lake Martin, over here on West Point Lake, Lake Harding, heads up, you've got a heavy thunderstorm headed your way. Now, this storm is not severe, but the Weather Service is issuing a special weather statement on this particular storm. And this weather statement's in effect until 10:15 a.m. this morning. It's moving to the east at around 46 miles per hour, so it's trucking on pretty good. Maximum sized hail with this one expected to be about 3/4 of an inch. Maximum wind at 40 miles per hour. So you got to get to 1 inch in hail diameter and winds in excess of 58 miles per hour to catch a severe thunderstorm warning. Now I will say this, earlier this morning we had a storm move through Randolph County that eventually spawned a tornado warning. It was a short-fused 15-minute tornado warning up here around Noonan. I haven't heard of any tornado-type damage up there. But that same cell moved through Randolph County, and there is damage, especially down there on Country Club Road in Roanoke, just south of Roanoke. We understand that there's some damage down there that would be conducive to at least damaging straight-line winds. Now, Randolph County never caught a severe thunderstorm warning. The only thing we had for Randolph was a special weather statement. So I'm not so sure the Weather Service didn't miss it up here just a little bit in Randolph County. And so I'm telling you folks down here in Tallapoosa and Chambers to pay attention to this. Even though you don't have a severe thunderstorm warning, there are no tornado warnings. This is still going to be a significant line of storms as it moves through. And look, folks, so wind doesn't care whether it's generated by a severe thunderstorm or tornado. Wind is wind. 65, 70, 70-plus mile per hour wind is strong. Doesn't matter where it comes from. It can cause damage. So heads up down there in central and southern Chambers and down in southern Tallapoosa County as this line of storms continues to move through East Alabama. Now, that's the only storm out there right now in East Alabama. I mean, we got sunshine up here in northern Randolph. Sun is shining in central and portions of northern Clay. We've got sunshine in Talladega. But down here in Tallapoosa and Chambers, it's been relatively quiet all morning. until now. And we see these storms breaking out down here. Now, they're moving off to the east, so they're not going to affect you up here in Roanoke. They're not going to affect you in Mellow Valley, Lineville, Ashland, Wedowee, Woodland. They're not going to affect you up here in Heard County. These are going to move on into Georgia, and we're talking about places like LaGrange down to about central Harris County. We'll be dealing with these storms as they move off to the east. Now, what's happening behind all of this? Well, at the moment, nothing. There is a chance that after noon today, and I'm talking about after 12, 1 o'clock, if we get enough sunshine over here in Alabama, we could see a few storms regenerate. We'll watch for that possibility as we get into the afternoon. Still have heavy rainfall up here in North Georgia, northeast Georgia particularly. For those of you that are watching us, rain about to come to an end now at my studios in southwest White County. Rain is tapering off in Cleveland. It's tapering off in Helen. Give it about another hour, hour and a half, and I think we got sunshine up here in northeast Georgia. You folks that are up there in Helen that maybe want to ride the river one more time before you have to head back home, I think your opportunity is coming. I think that will happen probably about by 12 noon, 1 o'clock this afternoon. Sunshine up there in Helen, Georgia. But across east Alabama and west Georgia, mostly cloudy skies now in Franklin, cloudy back over toward Peachtree City. And then we have this cluster of thunderstorms across central and southern Talladega, central creeping up into northern Chambers, central Chambers, and southern Chambers. That's going to move right over Lynette, West Point, Valley, Hughley. And it's going to continue off to the east, northeast, probably going to clip LaGrange and point south down I-185 down to central Harris County. We'll deal with this line of thunderstorms as it moves on off to the east. Again, we are back live with you because of a special weather statement for Tallapoosa and Chambers County of East Alabama. Donna Young is watching this morning. Wind Creek, Patrick says that they're kind of waiting all of this out there at Wind Creek State Park. And I can tell you that for you folks over here on Lake Martin, you still got a pretty good storm down there around Kalijah, just south of our town. At Kalijah South down Highway 63, all the way down to just north of Kalijah up to our town. It's where the heaviest part of the storm is over Lake Martin right now. Things should start improving at Wind Creek State Park within the next 15 minutes or so. And you look back to the west, and there's just not a whole lot out there. So I think your Memorial Day will start to improve at Wind Creek. Mike Pittman's in there this morning. Good morning to you, Mike. Mike's over there in LaGrange. And all of this is headed in your general direction. And you see LaGrange sitting right there. We'll zoom out so you can see. And this entire area, now you had one storm scoot just to the south of LaGrange. And then here comes this area. About to move into Gabbardville over West Point Lake up there around Holiday Park. And that will continue moving to the east. So now a brand new special weather statement for Troup County. This is going to include central Troup County, which is LaGrange, and Pine Mountain, Hamilton. And this is going to be for that cluster of thunderstorms moving out of Alabama into Georgia here in the next 30 minutes or so. Thundering in Opelika, that's all north of you. Johnny says that it is raining in White Plains. Lisa says thunder and rain in Lynette now. Jason is in Pine Mountain. Jason, you're going to probably catch the brunt of this. There's no question we have a tremendous rainfall up on the north side of it, but the really heaviest part of this storm is going to be in the area I'm outlining on the screen. And that is moving in this general direction. So you see the arrow is right on top of Pine Mountain. Now up here to the north, you got a lot of heavy rainfall. You got some thunder and lightning, no question there. But you see where the concentrated lightning output is along that area inside that white circle I just put there on the screen, and all of that is moving toward Pine Mountain. LaGrange, you're going to catch the northern fringes of this. But now it could build a little bit before it gets into the LaGrange area, no question. Mike says he can hear thunder outside in LaGrange now. Heard County, this will stay south of you. Heard County's already had its show this morning. And as I zoom back out, you're way up here. All of this stuff is south of you, moving to the east. So this is not going to affect Heard County. As a matter of fact, you may have some sunshine in Franklin here in just a few minutes. You look back over there at Wedowee, Newell, sun shining. Ashland, sunshine. Lineville's got sunshine. And all of that's moving east. Still pretty heavy cloud deck there in Roanoke, all the way back over toward Wadley. And that's associated with this cluster of thunderstorms that's in southern Tallapoosa and across central and southern Chambers as it moves to the east. Thundering in Lee County. Actually, Lee County, that thunder that you're hearing is coming from Chambers County. There is no lightning to speak of. I mean, there could be some very small strokes of lightning associated with this system down there. This goes to show, folks, that you can get struck by lightning well removed from the storm. The storm's up there in Chambers County, from Casita back to Waverly. But I do see a couple of little blips right there down in Lee County where there could be some lightning in that mass of clouds that's south of Auburn. So that just goes to show you got to be careful anytime there is a storm system even in the neighborhood. Give you kind of a unique look from behind the scenes here at Dr. Don Studios. You can kind of see that we control the radar with this particular screen. Then you can see all of our monitors, things that we're watching over here on the left-hand side. We're watching the National Weather Service chat room here. We can see the comments that are being made between media, emergency managers, and the National Weather Service. And then over here on the right is the chat room, so we can keep up with what you guys are talking about over in the chat room. I'm seeing some delayed storm reports coming in from the National Weather Service. Several trees and power lines down within Talladega City, also at Winterboro and Alpine. I have also received several text messages from some of you folks in Randolph County talking about some damage down on Country Club Road just south of Roanoke. And understand power is out in several locations across Randolph County as well. Let's see. What about Callaway? Tracy, are you talking about Callaway Gardens? I'm not sure exactly where you're talking about. If you're talking about Callaway Gardens, then this is probably going to... it's going to be a close call. Yeah, I think it's going to get stormy at Callaway Gardens. There's Pine Mountain right there. So this stuff over by Casita is what would end up in northern Harris County. Okay. Well, I just assumed that's what you were talking about. So, yeah, if you're at Callaway Gardens, I'd stay close to the cabin or the lodge, or if you're in if you're camping over there in a trailer, like a camping trailer, I would go to a more substantial structure. Same for you folks over on West Point Lake. You don't need to be in a tent. You don't need to be in a camper. You need to go to the bathhouse or somewhere that's a little more substantial. Even though we don't have anything tornadic in this storm, you could get those quick, gusty winds, 50, 60, 70 miles per hour, and that is certainly enough to topple over a camper. So you don't want to ever stay in a camper during times of severe weather on anywhere, and especially on our area lakes across East Alabama and West Georgia. We did have a storm move through Randolph County earlier today. Weather Service only issuing a special weather statement, just as they have for Chambers and Tallapoosa with this storm. And I think maybe they missed something there, because there's some pretty good reports of damage. We're talking trees, power lines, 10 off of, a barn, that sort of thing in Randolph, especially south of Roanoke, which could be indicative of 45, 50, maybe even 60 mile per hour winds. So I'm kind of thinking maybe Randolph should have been put under a severe thunderstorm warning. They were not. They were put under a significant weather advisory. And that same cell then moved into Georgia. They issued a warning for Heard County almost immediately. And then once it got into Coweta County, Peachtree City actually issued a short fuse tornado warning for a possible rotation near Noonan. I've not seen any reports of damage around Noonan, but I would certainly pay attention to this storm that's coming through Tallapoosa and Chambers, about to move into Troup and northern Harris. It is, by definition, by Weather Service definition, is not severe, but we have seen a couple of storms cause some damage this morning that looked to be not severe on radar, and they actually probably should have been considered severe. You have to understand that Alabama's warning responsibilities end at the state line. Peachtree City picks up at the state line, or the Atlanta National Weather Service. So sometimes the two offices see things a little bit differently, and that can happen. You can have a special weather statement for Randolph, and then Atlanta looks at the data and says, well, I think we're going to go with a severe thunderstorm warning, which is, the first thing you get is a special weather statement. That's a sign that it's significant. Then the upgrade is a severe thunderstorm warning, and then the upgrade from that is a tornado warning. So anytime you start hearing of a special weather statement, you need to pay attention to it, and that's what we've got down here in Tallapoosa and Chambers. Robbie says the Newell area got hit hard. What did y'all have up there? You have trees down? You have any structural damage? You guys, do me a favor when you post reports, give me specifics, because this information needs to get back to the National Weather Service. If there is significant damage, we're talking about structural damage or power lines or trees, the National Weather Service needs to know that, and I can certainly forward that information to them. Because if they missed something in Randolph County, then we need to report everything that we know of, so they can go back and run the loop again and look at it, so that the next time this happens, they can forecast the storms a little bit better. Yeah, you got thunder right there along the Lee County, Chambers County line. That's correct. It's coming from lightning strikes up there near Casita, and then back over toward Waverly. And then when you post information, be specific about the type of damage or problems that you're talking about. We got tin off of a roof. Do we have shingles off of a roof? Do we have structural damage? Is it power lines? Is it trees? Is it a combination of all the above? Are roads blocked? That's all the kind of stuff we're looking for. Oh, bear with me. I'm looking at several things here. Yeah, a question in the room about Cottonton, Alabama, right on the Alabama-Georgia state line. At the moment, I think this is going to be well north of you. Yeah, I don't see anything endangering your area at the moment. All of this, let me zoom back out. All of this is moving pretty much in that direction. Yeah, West Point, you got storms on top of you. Though I'll say the lightning output not as significant right now as it was over the Lynette area, but you go back over toward Lafayette. Again, that stuff's moving in that general direction, so pretty close to you, LaGrange. Actually, we've got a hail marker just outside of LaGrange now. Up there around Buffalo, Marcoot, that's probably the heaviest part of this storm at the moment. That's just north of downtown Lafayette. Up there on State Route 77. There's Highway 431. County Road 98. Chambers County Road 97. Chambers County Road 105. If there is any hail with this storm, it's going to be in this area, crossing over Highway 431, pretty close to Buffalo. And go back up here to LaGrange, and we'll look at that stuff out there at Lee's Crossing, stretching back to the west. And we just lost that hail marker. So there could be some very small hail out there, but so a special weather statement continues for Troup County from about LaGrange south down to around Hamilton. It does include Callaway and Pine Mountain. And that's going to be for this thunderstorm complex coming out of Chambers County, Alabama. You're welcome, Kay. Questions about West Point. There's West Point right there. You got some pretty heavy rainfall out there on 85. Yeah, I don't see anything severe right there in the West Point, Lynette area, but you do have a lot of heavy rainfall. By definition, the severe part of this may actually be now up on the north side of all of this, where you see the most lightning strikes. We have hail indication there. 100% chance that there is hail near Buffalo, but only a 20% chance that it is severe. Yeah, Shirley, I don't see this making it all the way up into Roanoke. This is moving to the east. I'll put this in motion, and you can see the direction that this is moving. It's moving from left to right across the screen. Roanoke is up there at the top of the screen. So I don't think this particular complex of storms will make it that far north. You've gone back cloudy now in Roanoke. We do have sun from about Wedowee north and from Franklin north, and then up there in Clay County from about Bowden Grove north. Delta is in the sunshine at this hour. But I think this stays south of Roanoke. Well, you're looking at probably at least an hour before the backside of this gets into Georgia. And then we're just going to have to see what happens the remainder of the day. I mean, if we get a good amount of sunshine up here in West Alabama and North Alabama, we could see some redevelopment later on this afternoon. We're beginning to see some storms fire in southeast Alabama now. That's it's been quiet down there all morning, but from Andalusia to Troy back over toward Eufaula, we're beginning to see some convection intensify down there. And yeah, you know, there's going to be some issues. There could be some issues on Highway 50 through Chambers County and then down to Camp Hill, with some localized areas of flooding, because this chain of storms has been training over the same location now for a minute. And these storms this morning, the output's pretty productive here. We're talking 1 to 2 inches of rain per hour, some of the rain rates. So it doesn't take long to start causing some flooding issues. So Highway 50, a really bad ride this morning, all the way across Chambers and into Tallapoosa County. Oh, there's a what about. Good morning, James. Welcome to the show. What about Auburn? Let's go down and take a peek at the loveliest village on the plains. There you go. Nada. Nothing going on down there. You got some clouds. Probably looks pretty rough back to your north. But all of that's moving east. It's not going that complex, not going to make it down into Auburn. Now, do I think as the day wears on, you will get a thunderstorm in Auburn? Yeah, most likely. I think we'll see more development back to the west, probably down there around Prattville or Montgomery, and that'll move east into the Auburn-Opelika area, but there's nothing looming out there right now. You follow. Well, actually, Troy. Not much happening in Eufaula, but that stuff over there at Troy will move due east. So we'll see. Hitting hard in LaGrange. Got a pretty good cell sitting right there on the northeast or the north side of downtown LaGrange. Highway 109 that goes right through the square, really from the square all the way out to the 85 interchange, and north. You got some very heavy rainfall up there on Highway 29. And then when we come back to the west, you've got more heavy rain on 29 from Lee's Crossing all the way down to West Point and then back out to Interstate 85. Nothing severe in there, though. As a matter of fact, I'm not even seeing a tremendous amount of lightning in that complex that's in Troup County. There's a stroke of lightning here and there, but I don't see a tremendous amount of output. This actually over to the east of I-185. That would be just to the west of Greenville. That's probably the strongest cell in Troup County at the moment. And you got a couple little specks right there where we could have some pea-sized hail taking place. Again, if you've just joined us, we're on the air because of a special weather statement that's been issued for Tallapoosa, Chambers, Troup, and northern Harris counties for an isolated batch of thunderstorms that's now moving through Tallapoosa, Chambers, Troup, and northern Harris. Let's go back down to street level on the Camp Hill cell. State Route 50, where it comes through Camp Hill, 50 and 121 intersection right there in downtown Camp Hill. And then back over toward US 280. There could be some hail. Those areas that you see that are purplish, pink, especially where you see the flashing black in the middle. So just west of Camp Hill, I would suspect that there is some hail in that storm. It's probably penny-sized hail, pea to penny-sized hail. Thank you, Deborah. The only severe thunderstorm watch we still have in effect is going to be in Georgia. Let me zoom out, and you'll see that orange box. Let's take the radar off, and let's go back over and take the visible off. And you can see that orange area there across northeast, middle Georgia, back into west Georgia. That is the tornado. The severe thunderstorm watch. And that severe thunderstorm watch goes until 2 o'clock Eastern this afternoon. I can tell you, you folks over here in West Georgia, you'll be released from that watch way before 2 p.m. But that is the only watch in effect across Alabama and Georgia. And even all of the watches in Alabama have been removed. The only advisories we have in the state of Alabama is that special weather statement for central and southern Tallapoosa, central and southern Chambers, central and southern Troup County, northern Harris County, and Meriwether. I'll put the next rad back. Now, you folks out there on West Point Lake, you need to be in a safe place. You got a lot of thunder and lightning moving directly over West Point Lake. Places like Amity Park, Southern Pines Campground, West Point Dam, Holiday Park. Maybe some hail right there just southeast of Fredonia. Pine Road Park. Out there at Long Cane, Gabbettsville. This will move over the Kia Motors plant out there on I-85. But if you're anywhere on West Point Lake, you need to be in a safe place, and your camper is not it. Yeah, Lake Wedowee should be beautiful right now. You got sunshine trying to break through. No precipitation whatsoever up there. But down here on the south end of West Point Lake, it is a mess at the moment. With lots of rainfall, thunder, and lightning. All of this is moving off to the east, northeast. So maybe up there on the extreme north end, up around Ware's Crossroads, and then getting on up into Heard County along the river basin, you may not have to deal with this. This may stay a little bit south of you. But it's coming a good one in downtown Lafayette right now. That stretches all the way back to Camp Hill. Thank you, Kay. Thanks, Connie. Thank you, Dawn. What about? Hey, Gabrielle has joined the What About Club. Good morning. What about Wedowee? All of this is well south of Wedowee, and it's moving off to the east. That's not going to affect you in Wedowee. Wedowee looks good right now. Will we have more development later on this afternoon that could affect Wedowee? It's possible. It doesn't look very likely right now, but as we get into the heat of the afternoon, you get a ton of sunshine up there in Wedowee. You get into the heat of the afternoon, we could see some more thunderstorms when the actual cold front itself moves through. But at the moment, Wedowee is in great shape. Get outside and enjoy. Between Greenville and Luthersville, you can expect a lot of rain. Thunder, lightning, gusty winds. Nothing severe at the moment. All storms are below severe limits, but they are strong. So you're over there between Greenville and Luthersville. That's what you can expect. At Lakeview, Alabama. Where is Lakeview? I'm assuming it must be over here in Chambers County, or it could be down there in Tallapoosa. Where is Lakeview? That's a new one on me. Missy Strength. Get out of town. Huh. All right, Missy, I got to have a little more information. We bear the same last name. So I'm going to need to know a little bit more about that. Right at West Point Lake. Jeremy, no, I have not seen any reports of any damage in Noonan or Coweta County from that short fuse tornado warning. Hey, Missy, you need to look me up and send me a message on Messenger so I can determine. Strength is not a very common last name, so I need to figure out if we're connected somewhere down the line. Opelika. What about Opelika? Opelika looks good. Let me put the cloud coverage back on. Yeah, rain falling. That's what I'm talking about. The high resolution. That the high resolution was kind of an outlier yesterday. Looking at today, and all the other models were going, nah, there ain't gonna be much to this. And it hasn't been a major severe outbreak, but the high resolution was showing all this stuff that we're dealing with right now. So I gotta go with what the high resolution is showing us. And it is suggesting that we may see some storms later on this afternoon. Sheila, I can't tell you for sure. I mean, you have to look at trends. That's what you have to look at. And the trend with this complex of thunderstorm activity has not been severe. This fired back in northern Elmore, southern Chilton, Coosa, a couple of hours ago, and the trend has not been anything much more than what you're seeing right now, which is a good old down-home southern thunderstorm with a lot of thunder and lightning and maybe some pea-sized hail. We hadn't really seen the storm fluctuate much in intensity. It's pretty much maintained its own as it's slowly moving across now southeastern Tallapoosa, southern Chambers, and into Troup. And LaGrange, you're about to get walloped. Lots of rain, thunder, lightning. Dark in LaGrange. There you go, Mike. Thunder and lightning for sure. So Shelley is confirming that there are trees down in Coweta County. No confirmation of a tornado. And that occurred while Noonan, Coweta County, was under a tornado warning, a very short-lived tornado warning. And it looked like if there was any type of tornado in that storm, it would have been just barely north of downtown and likely from that point out to the interstate, out where the mall's at. Dark sky in Lee County. Yeah, it's getting dark down there in Lee County, northern Lee, back over from Auburn all the way back over to Beans Mill, Opelika. That's all because of that storm to your north, which is pretty much sliding from left to right or from west to east. I can't rule out that some of that stuff over there in southern Tallapoosa could end up skirting along the northern sections of Lee County. But the majority of this is going to stay up in Chambers and Troup and Harris. Got really dark this morning in Roanoke. Are we looking at another conniption fit of the weather again? That's one way of putting it. No, that cloud coverage you got going on up there in Randolph County right now is part of this complex that's moving through Chambers. I don't think it makes it that far north up into Roanoke. But the longer you stay cloudy, the less our chances are of seeing reformation later on today. So you want to stay cloudy. Actually, the best thing for you, Roanoke, would be to get some light rain going up there and let that continue for 3 or 4 hours. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think this complex stays well to your south and moves on into Troup and Meriwether and Coweta County, maybe southern, as it moves on off to the east. Now, this whole complex, though, is developing rapidly. This may become something to really be concerned about as it gets on deeper into Georgia. I mean, look at those bright white clouds just blowing up with this thing. But then as we look back to the west, you see there's nothing going on there. We've got sunshine. We had sunshine in Wedowee. It's become cloudy again because of this complex down in Chambers. But you got sunshine up there in Cleburne, Cherokee County, back over toward Calhoun, Anniston, sunny. Carroll County's got sunshine. A few broken clouds over Birmingham, and then back into Mississippi, West Alabama, Mississippi, full-blown sunshine. The drive from Opelika to the Atlanta airport. Well, you're going to run right into this if you leave Opelika right now. By the time you get up into southeastern Chambers, you're going to run right into it. It's moving from left to right, so it's moving right over I-85. And you're going to be in very heavy rainfall from about Casita, probably all the way up to about Hogansville by the time you get up there. North of that, everything looks good. From Hogansville through Peachtree City, Union City, and up to Atlanta, all looks good. There's no weather around the airport to cause any issues at the moment, and all this stuff's going to move on off to the east. Should not affect travel issues or travel at the Atlanta airport. So this is going to move in this general direction. I've got the arrow on the screen. And so it'll stay well south of Atlanta. Oh, LaGrange, you're going to have rain for a minute. This is just really getting started in LaGrange. This stretches all the way back into southern Tallapoosa County over in Alabama. So, yeah, it's probably going to continue. We'll let this thing loop through so you can kind of get a general idea of the direction it's all moving. And probably going to be at least another 45 minutes to an hour before things start to improve in the LaGrange area. All right, folks, so here's the deal. We've been going now for 49 minutes, so we're going to wrap this up. Typically, our threshold to go live is a severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning. Typically, we don't go live during special weather statements, but hey, it's raining in North Georgia. It's a holiday. It's Memorial Day. I ain't got a whole lot going on, so why not hang out with my best buds and talk about weather? So that's why we're doing this. But I am about to wrap it up for now. I'll continue to monitor. If any of this were to go to severe, then I'll come right back and we'll continue with our coverage. And what we're going to be watching for now is to see whether or not we get any redevelopment this afternoon back in central Alabama that could cause us more problems later on your Memorial Day afternoon. Well, I'm going to tell you something. If you live in Peachtree City, Georgia, and the National Weather Service in Peachtree City, Georgia tells you to take cover, I think I'd pay attention to it. That's where the National Weather Service office is, for those of you that don't know. And there's nothing to get excited about. There's no point in flipping out, freaking out. Just heed the warning and know where you're supposed to go and go ride the storm out. I mean, if you get the warning and you go shelter in place in your safe place, then there's not much more you can do. And most of the time, you'll survive it just fine. So just go through the motions. I mean, weather was happening when the good Lord turned the lights on, and weather will be happening when the good Lord turns the lights off. It's part of life. There's no reason to get all excited about it. It's nothing new. Weather's not worse now than it was 20 years ago or 50 years ago. Weather works in cycles. You can go back and look at weather records from 100 years ago, and you'll see those cycles every 20 or 30 years. Storms intensify, then they don't. I mean, it's just the way it works. I know there's a lot of theories out there about a bunch of global warming and all of that. And I'm old school, and I don't really buy into all of that. Weather comes and goes in cycles. Always has, and it always will. Yeah, and rain falling. I think this complex we're seeing right here in Chambers County and now in Troup County is on the northern leading edge of that cape or surface-based instability that's building across the I-85 corridor and points south across Alabama and Georgia. I think that's very obvious, and we're seeing it happen in living color there. The big $64 million question is whether or not we can get some instability going further north than that. I think as we go through the afternoon, the better chances for more severe weather will be along and south of the I-85 corridor. And yes, Auburn, Opelika, Columbus, that does include you. So I think we'll have to watch for you particularly close later on today and into the evening. All right, so I'm going to wrap things up now. I'll continue to watch this. If we see anything change, we'll come right back and we'll continue with our coverage. Seems like the world's coming to an end in LaGrange. I know lots of thunder and lightning, gusty winds, but you're below severe limits according to the National Weather Service. Just be very careful out there. Just stay indoors until all this passes. Then you can get outside and enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day Monday. I'll see you back in here either later on today or first thing tomorrow morning with your primetime forecast on Dr. Don's Weather. Happy Memorial Day, folks.